Hey, what's going on? Peace, 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 y'all. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? This your girl Tiffany here, live in the Fed. Okay, so tonight I'm going live, talk about the sixth principle of nonviolence by Dr. Martin Luther King. So it explains why Dr. King chose nonviolence. Now, everybody don't have to agree with Dr. King's philosophy. Okay. Some people did not agree with the fact that, some people did not agree with the fact that he was nonviolent. Some people don't agree with his ideas, and that's okay. But let's go into the principles. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see that screen. Cool. All right, so the first principle, and this website comes from the Doha Declaration promoting a culture of lawfulness. All right. And it says Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s sixth principle of nonviolence handout. So, principle number one, nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. It is active, nonviolent, resistant to evil. It is aggressive spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So, what that principle means is that it takes courage to stand up against nonviolence. It takes courage to not use violence as a force. Okay? So, Dr. King believed that if people use nonviolence, then they can be able to control their thoughts. They can be able to maintain control over their emotions. So that's what Dr. King believed in. All right. And then the second principle is nonviolence seeks to win friendships and understanding. The results of nonviolence is redemption and reconciliation. The purpose of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community. So if you use emotional intelligence, according to Dr. King, you can gain friendship and understanding, not as a way to respond to a situation aggressively. So, when you have emotional intelligence, you could be able to have some form of, you can gain people respect. And you can earn friendships just through emotional intelligence. So that was his principle on that. Okay. And then the third one is nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. Nonviolence recognizes that evildoers are also victims and are not evil people. The nonviolent resistor seeks to defeat evil, not people. So when it comes to fighting justice, according to him, it's not about fighting against the individual, but it's a fighting against the wrongdoing. So it's basically to hold the person accountable for their own action. You hold the person accountable for their own action. You make the person see what they're doing is wrong. But you're not going to use any type of aggressive force to get rid of them, but you want to be able to hold them accountable. Nonviolence holds that suffering can educate and transform. Nonviolence accepts suffering without retaliation. Unearned suffering is redemptive and has tremendous educational and transforming possibilities. So, a person who goes through suffering, right, it gives them the time to actually learn about what they're suffering on and what was the reason behind their suffering. So this gives the person a time to be able to focus on discipline, because when you have discipline, then you can stay focused, and when you stay focused, then you be able to learn how to have discipline, and you be able to know how to move at a pace. So in the Chinese philosophy under Taoism, it's called Wu Wei. Wu Wei means going with the flow. That means don't force it, you just go with the flow. And eventually things will get better, opportunity will become available. It will present itself when you go along with the flow. So that's what it basically means. When you suffer, right, you learn about your suffering. And they say only a strong survive, right? Well, that's what Dr. King thought. The strong will survive. All right. And then the next principle is nonviolence chooses love instead of hate. Nonviolence resists violence of the spirit as well as the body. Nonviolent love is spontaneous, unmotivated, unselfish, and creative. So it's easy to hate somebody, but it's hard to love someone. So in this case, Dr. King say, choose the hardest route. Love a person. Because according to the scripture, right, it says that you have to love thy enemy. So you choose to love your enemy because you understand your enemy's problem. You understand them as a human being. And you don't hate them, because at the end, we all are humans. And then the sixth one is nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. The nonviolent resistor has deep faith that justice will eventually win. Nonviolence believes that God is a God of justice. So that means the universe is going to make the final decision. The universe is going to operate in the direction that it wants to operate. So that's what it means. So Dr. King was very philosophical with his approach. He used a lot of philosophy. Now, if you look at those six principles, you will notice that it sounds more like Buddhism, like a Buddhist philosophy, or a philosophy that comes from Taoism, or anything that deals with Eastern philosophy, right? You can tell that that's where some of his inspiration comes from. Then, of course, he used the scripture, the Bible, as a way to bring about the promotion of nonviolence. So Dr. King was more philosophical than, I would say, revolutionary. He was very philosophical with his approach. And I don't think people study enough about Dr. King philosophy. Because one of the first things that we hear is the speech, which is, I have a dream. But people do not hear the entire speech. They hear that one little portion and run away with it. They don't understand what that speech was really about. What he was doing was addressing the injustice due to police brutality. That's what his main purpose was. If you get into the whole entire thing. But outside of that, Dr. King was more philosophical. And he was a great speaker because he knew how to draw the crowd of people, bring the attraction. And there's so many speeches that he has done besides I Have a Dream. Go look at the one about the two Americas. The one he talked about the Vietnam War. And his last speech, I've been to the mountaintop. What Dr. King wanted was rights for African Americans, rights for all people. That was his whole focus. His whole focus was make sure that the minorities in America get equal right and equal treatment. But then he had those around him that betrayed him, that took advantage of him. And it takes a lot for a man like himself to have emotional intelligence and go about doing the marching, the protesting, and come with the idea of peace and harmony. Now, did things turn out to be that way? Of course not. Because in the midst of the protest, in the midst of the protest, there were chaos taking place. There was people getting sprayed with water hose. There was people who was fighting back. So no, everything didn't turn out to be peaceful. But for Dr. King, he had a peace of mind. He already accepted his fate. He already accepted his reality. He accepted what was going to happen to him. And he knew that eventually somebody was going to take him out. Now, there was a story about a lady who approached him while he was, I think he was signing autographs. So a lady came up to him and she stabbed him 6 times. That was the first attempt on his life. Well, it was multiple attempts, but that was one of them. Then there was another incident where his house was firebombed. Yeah, Dr. King's house was firebombed. And then the last attempt, which was done successfully, when he was at the Lorraine Hotel, at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. He was on top of the balcony, and there he was assassinated. Now, there's been a lot of conspiracy as to who was involved regarding to his death. And we all know the federal government played their part in that, right? We already know that. We already know CIA, COINTELPRO. We already know. But it was other people that was in his circle that played the informant that was involved in it too. And only those who were there know who played a role in what happened to him. But what we can learn from Dr. King is, although everybody don't agree with his approach, but one thing you can learn is there's a time and a place for everything. You got to learn the discipline, the art of discipline, and having emotional intelligence and social intelligence. Now let's go into what is emotional versus social intelligence. Let's go into it. All right, if you guys can see the screen. Okay. So, the difference between emotional and social intelligence. So, I'm on the website. All right. So, understanding and leveraging these forms of intelligence can significantly enhance your ability to lead, collaborate, and drive businesses success. Emotional intelligence and social intelligence are related concepts that both involve understanding and managing emotions, but stay focused on different aspects of interpersonal skills. We delve into the power of emotional intelligence a few months back, but today I want to go into differences between emotional and social intelligence, and more importantly, provide actionable tips on how to leverage each in a business context. All right. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, popularized by psychologists Peter Salovey and John Mayer, and later expanded upon by Daniel Goleman, refer to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and effectively use one's own emotions and those of others. Emotional intelligence is often broken down into four main components. The first one is self awareness, recognizing and understanding one's own emotions. Second is self regulation, managing and controlling one's own emotions effectively. Third one is social awareness, perceiving and understanding the emotions of others. Fourth one is relationship management, using emotional information to navigate social situations, build relationships, and communicate effectively. All right. So, those are the four components of emotional intelligence. Okay. Self awareness, being able to understand your own emotions, right? Self regulation, being able to learn how to manage your own emotion. Social awareness, being able to perceive and understand the emotion of people around you. And the fourth one is the relationship management, mean being able to navigate in a social situation by using emotional intelligence to be able to communicate properly. Okay. So emotional intelligence is more centered on an individual's ability to handle emotion, both their own and others, and is applicable to various aspects of life, including personal relationships and professional settings. Now, social intelligence on the extends beyond emotional awareness and regulation to encompass a broader range of social skills. It involves the ability to understand and navigate social situations effectively, demonstrating adaptability, empathy, and interpersonal competence. Social intelligence includes skills such as one, empathy, understanding and sharing the feelings of others, right? Two, active listening, paying close attention to verbal and non-verbal cues in communication. Social perception, reading and understand social dynamics and situation. Four, adaptability, adjusting behavior to fit different social contexts. So while emotional intelligence is more inward focused, social Emotional intelligence is more inward focused, right? Social intelligence emphasizes external social interaction and the ability to relate to others in diverse social environments. So, social intelligence is often seen as a subset or an extension of emotional intelligence, encompassing a broader set of social skills beyond just social awareness. So, in summary, social intelligence is primarily about understanding and managing emotion both within oneself and others, while social intelligence encompasses a wider array of social skills that contribute to effective interpersonal interaction. Both are crucial for building successful relationships, whether in personal or professional settings. All right. Oh, actually. So that was the whole purpose of Dr. King. His thing is have emotional intelligence, right? Mean that you create a space where you can be able to understand individuals and be able to understand your own emotions, have discipline within yourself. And social intelligence mean that you'll be able to learn how to socialize with people and be an active listener and being able to know how to develop a better relationship. So with those two things, that's how Dr. King was able to get things accomplished with the whole civil rights movement. Yeah, there was problems along the way, but he maintained that control. He maintained those principles and he stood on those principles. He really did. So, anyways, that's all I want to say for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. So thank you for watching. Shout out to my brother Asiad Soldier. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Peace.